Welcome back to my next playthrough series. This time we're going to revisit Battlelore. I've got all the expansions now, and I thought I would take a look at the Razorwings scenario that comes with the neutral units, which are the Razorwings. And you get 3 of these little models here, extremely nicely detailed Razorwings. So we're going to be playing the Razorwing scenario. So slightly different than just the regular standard rules. And I'll go over the details. And I'll show you the setup for the Razorwing scenario called A Shot in the Dark. And this comes with the little expansion. So this is the setup of the board, and I've already set it up. We basically have our what are these guys called again? Flesh Ripper Brutes, I think. That's what they're called. Indeed, Flesh Ripper Brutes. You have a set here and a set here. Basically, it's a gauntlet, and your Dakan forces need to escape to this line. They have to get through here, and you can replace one of the hill tiles with the Razorwing tile, which I've done this one here. So basically, the Uthik, which are the red players, are controlling the Razorwings. There's a day-night cycle in this scenario, and I'll explain, I guess. Can look at the setup here. I apologize for the wrinkly sheet. It's just in the expansion pack. This is all folded down and stuffed into the little pack. So let me just readjust the camera. We're going to look at the special rules and the setup, and then we'll get into a turn. Okay, so I've zoomed down a little bit here. So let's take a look at A Shot in the Dark. Take a little bit to go over all this stuff. So a skirmish has depleted our forces. It says we have attempted, I hope this isn't glaring, to stay in formation as we retreat to our closest bastion. A large field is all that remains between a safe haven and us. Unfortunately, fringe units of the enemy's forces have spotted us. This retreat will take many days, and I fear most of us will fall. Night is what shall truly test our valor, for these parts hold stories of a most dangerous predator, which of course are the Razorwings. So the setup scenario simulates a day and night. So basically the Dakan player, which is going to start the scenario, activates in daytime, and the Uthik activates at night. And so there's some special rules here. The Dakan player's lore deck cannot include the portal lore card, so I've removed it. And we start with 3 lore tokens, so I've done that. The Uthik setup player, they replace 1 hill tile with the cavern tile, so I've done that, and that's where the Razor Wings will show up. Then he musters an army consisting of 24 muster points, which I've done. Which does not include the 2 forces of brutes, which we had seen up in the upper left and right corners. So 24 not including those. The Uthik player receives 1 lore token to a maximum of 5 for each unspent muster point. Well, I've spent all the muster points for the Uthik, so they're not going to start with any lore tokens. Players cannot muster Razorwing units, legend units, or terrain hexes. So we're not allowed to put in any terrain hexes. You can't have legendary units, so no flying rock, no demon, the heck are they called? I forget. No legendary units anyway, so you can't do that. Special rules. Each time a Dakan unit enters the blue deployment hex, the Dakan player immediately receives a victory point. So if we can get any of our units to this blue line, the end of the board, we get a victory point. The Dakan player immediately receives 1 victory point and removes that unit from the game. Okay, when a Dakan unit eliminates Razorwings unit, they receive a victory point for that. The Dakan player cannot gain victory points from lore cards. So some lore cards say if you defeat an enemy, you get a victory point. We cannot get victory points that way. Well, the Dakan player has the first player token. It's day. Uthik player, it is night. So Dakan day, Uthik night. We'll figure that out. When it becomes night, the Uthik player places a friendly Razorwing unit on the cavern hex at full health, or an adjacent hex if the cavern hex is occupied. Additionally, units can only target adjacent units during the night, so no long-range shooting in the nighttime. When it becomes day, the Razorwing unit is removed from the game board, so I guess they go back into the caverns. Dakan victory point step. If the Dakan player has the first player token, so if it's daytime, he passes it to the opponent. If the Dakan player does not have the first player token, he takes it from the opponent. So basically, we start on the day step. After a player's draw step, the active player may spend 2 lore to discard all of his command cards. Then he draws an equal number of command cards from the command deck. So that's something extra, I believe, you're not allowed to do in the regular game. So the objective is the con player has 4 victory points or eliminates all Uthic units, not including Razorwings, he immediately wins. And the Uthic player, if the Dakon player wins, if the Dakon player needs more victory points to win than the number of units currently in the game board, the Uthic immediately wins. So basically means the Dakon are going to start with 9 units, 3 guards, 3 infantry, 3 cavalry. We need to get 5 of them, or sorry, we need to get 4 of these units to this blue line. Of course, the Uthic trying to stop us. And the Razorwings have some special stuff. So next up, again, just readjust the camera a little bit. We're going to go through all of the cards that the Dakon player has. So as in the usual setup way, you draw 6 lore cards, 6 command cards. You put 2 on the bottom, so I've done that already. You draw 3 lore cards, put 2 on the bottom. I'm not going to show you the Uthic cards. We're going to keep those a secret. They're the opposition here in the game. But we're going to go over the units, and we're using 2 new units for the Uthic. We are going to be looking at those. We have Berserkers, and we have Grotesque, and they are from the big expansion pack that came out a while ago. And of course, we'll look at the Razorwings as well, because they are the neutral new unit. So, like I said, let me readjust. We will look at all the units in the game, and then when we come back, we will do the first turn, which means we will have the Dakon go. And in the next episode, then we will have the Uthic go, and we'll continue doing this scenario, of course, from beginning to end until it's over. So let me readjust, and we're going to take a look at all the units and all the cards for the Dakon. Of course, the Uthic cards will remain hidden. Alright, so taking a look at units. Let's take a look at the Dakon units that are in the game. So, of course, we have the Citadel Guards, which are here. We have the Yeoman Archers, and we have the Riverwatch Cavalry Riders. So let's take a look and just refresh our memories on what these guys do. So the Citadel Guard are Infantry Knight melee. They have, if they roll that on the die, they have Superior Tactics, cause 1 retreat. And you don't have to use your die for these abilities, but you can. And they also have Pursue 1. Instead of using Advance, this unit may move 1 hex and perform 1 additional attack. So that's if they make a unit retreat. Yeoman Archers, Infantry Archer ranged, double shot. If this unit did not move during your move step, it may perform 1 additional attack during your attack step. Okay, pretty straightforward. Oh, and I should say the infantry have 2 movement. They roll 3 attack dice, and there are 3 units, so 3 health, 3 units in one of the guards. Same with the Yeoman Archers. They have 2 movement. They have 2 attack dice. They hit from a range of 1 to 4, so they're pretty long range shot ability. They have 3 health. Alright, Riverwatch Riders, Vigilant. Enemy units cannot counter this unit's attacks. So when these guys attack a unit, they are not allowed a counter attack against them. And Flanking, add 1 die to each combat roll performed by other friendly units against enemy units adjacent to this unit. Flanking can add a maximum of 1 die per combat. So you can't have 3 Riverwatch Riders around 1 unit. They get 3 dice. They would just get a maximum 1. Those are our Dakon units. We need to try and get them, of course, to the other side of the board through the gauntlet here. And now let's take a look at their cards. So they have, we kept 4 command cards, so I threw 2 away. I'm not showing you them, but these were the best ones to keep. So we have Attack Left, so we can activate 3 units on the left section. So of course the little red line here divides middle, left, and right. We have Line Advance, 1 in each section. We have Darken the Skies, and that's order 3 archer units during your attack step. Each ordered archer unit that did not move during your move step may perform an additional attack. So this could give them 3 attacks. And we have Counter Attack. Special card, it says, play this card to copy the command card of your opponent that your opponent played last turn. Follow the instructions of the card, although you played it yourself. Revealing any section, left section, and become right. So basically, you just basically take their card and use it, whatever it was. So those are our 4 command cards for Dakon. And we have a couple of lore cards. We had 3, picked 2. One of them had to do with the Rock Warrior, which is not in this game, so I discarded it. We have Plunder, which doesn't cost anything. Play after an enemy unit is eliminated. We can gain 3 lore. And we have Overrun, which is Play on your order step. Friendly cavalry units may move through hexes occupied by enemy units. Roll a die for each time a friendly cavalry unit moves through a hex occupied by an enemy unit this turn. For each double sword and sword result produced, the enemy unit suffers 1 damage. And I don't believe you can counterattack this overrun card either. So basically the cavalry just mows its way through any enemy units. That is the Dakan. And up for the Uthik, like I said, I'm not going to show you their command cards, of which they have 4, and I'm not going to show you their lore cards. But I will show you their units. Why don't we start with the Razorwings, since they're the new unit for the game, or new neutral unit. They're cavalry, elite, and melee. Cavalry? Flying cavalry, I guess. They are flying. Non-flying melee units roll 1 fewer die combat roll against this unit. This unit ignores combat and movement restrictions of hexes it moves into or occupies, so it just can go anywhere because it's a flying unit. It has a claw sweep. After advancing, this unit may stun an enemy unit adjacent to it. Stun units cannot move, attack, counter, or retreat. When a player orders a stun unit, he may spend 2 lore to remove the stun marker from the unit's hex. I believe the rune golems also have the stun ability, so do Razorwings. They have a movement of 3. They roll 3 dice for attack, and of course there are 3 Razorwing units per unit. So three models per unit, and they come in the pack. All right, let's take a quick look at the Dakan units that we're going to be playing with. Of course, we have the Blood Harvesters, which we've used in my last playthrough. They're infantry melee. They have Rage. Add a die to each combat roll performed by this unit for each figure missing from this unit. So they get more nasty the fewer units they have. So they can move 2. They have 3 attack dice normally, and 3 health means 3 units. And they have Frenzy. If they roll a special, they can cause 1 damage or remove 1 figure from this unit after this combat. So they can actually kill themselves as well to go into a frenzy to do extra damage. Flesh Ripper Brutes. Cavalry melee. Blood Thirst. If a target unit has suffered 1 or more damage, cause 1 damage. And I believe the way this one works is the unit already has to be damaged before the Flesh Ripper Brutes attack them. So if the Flesh Ripper Brutes attack a unit doing 1 damage, they don't, and then they can't spend this to do another one, because you have to commit the dice before the damage is allocated. So that's kind of a timing thing. So just to clarify that, they have a Pursue 2. Instead of using Advance, this unit may move up to 2 hexes and perform 1 additional attack. So that's good. Now here's some new units from the expansion that we're going to be using. We're going to be using Berserkers. They're infantry melee, and you actually get 4 Berserkers per unit here, which is kind of cool. So movement 2, attack dice 2, doesn't sound very good. Movement of 4, but they have something called 1,000 Cuts, and it's cause 1 damage to an enemy unit adjacent to this unit. So they can be attacking 1 unit, have another unit adjacent. They can spend a special token here, or special die, to cause a other unit beside them to have a damage. Alright, and they're also deranged. Each time you perform a combat roll for this unit, you may re-roll a die. So they only have 2 dice, but you get to re-roll 1. That's a pretty good ability, and there's 4 of them in a unit. So pretty tough guys. And I have put 2 of those out on the board. And then we have a new unit from the expansion as well called the Grotesque. They're elite melee units. They move 2 movement, 3 attack dice, and 3 in a unit. Lacerate. Bleed the target unit. Bleeding units roll 1 fewer die during combat rolls. When a player orders a bleeding unit, he may spend 2 lore to remove the bleed marker from the unit's hex. So they have the special ability Bleeding, I think, which is new with the expansions. And they have Bone Blast. Instead of advancing, this unit may perform a ranged attack with an attack value of 3 at a range of 1 to 2. So if they get you to retreat, so instead of advancing, they can just send out a Bone Blast shard. So those are the units we are using in the game. All right, so with all that said, let's do a quick first turn for the Dakan. They start, it is daytime, which means they can use their ranged unit ability without any problem. And so let me just readjust the camera, and we're going to start with the Dakan in this episode. And again, their objective is to get off the board and get victory points for doing so. All right, so beginning the Dakan turn. So the first thing we do is we have what's called a command step, and we must play 1 command card. So of our command cards, we get to play one of them. And I think I'm going to start right off with a big heavy arrow barrage. So we're going to play Darken the Skies. Darken the Skies has order 3 archer units. Well, I have 3 archer units. During your attack step, each ordered archer unit that did not move during your move step may perform 1 additional attack. So if we don't move any of the archer units, they're going to get to have 3 attacks each, and that's pretty awesome. So we're going to, and I'm going to use a little mini dice again just to designate which units are being ordered. Oh, why don't I order the archers, because that's what we're doing. All right, so there's our 3 archer units. That was the play the command card. This was our order step. So we're declaring which units we're ordering. Those are our 3 archer units. Now we're into the move step. So each ordered unit may move up to their speed. Now our archers have a speed of 2, and I don't think I want to move, or should I move one of them? I have to think about this. They can move up to 2. I don't think I'm going to move any of them because I have a cunning plan. As per usual, the cunning plan. Is it going to work? I don't know. So we're not moving anybody, which means Darken the Skies, all 3 of our archer units are going to have 3 attacks. And now we're into the attack step. So I'm just going to readjust the camera, and we're going to do our attacks. 1, 2, 3 attacks. We're going to start with these guys, and they're going to be shooting at our Berserkers here. Now they have a range of 1 to 4. And remember, it's daytime, so we don't have the range restriction that's happening. So they are going to shoot at these guys, and they easily have a range 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And there's no line of sight blocked because they can go from this corner easily here. So these guys are not blocking line of sight to the Berserkers. So let me readjust. We're going to roll the 3 attacks and see if we can take some of those Berserkers out. Alright, so starting off, this unit, so we'll remove the die, they get to attack 3 times because of Darken the Skies, and they're going to be attacking the Berserkers here. So they're going to get to roll 3 times, 2 dice each attack. So let's see what they can get on their dice. So starting off well, they get 1 hit. That's a ranged hit and a miss. So one of the Berserker units is eliminated. So that is a good start. That's only 1 attack. We still get 2 more attacks because we're playing Darken the Skies. So they're just peppering these guys with arrows. And we get a special and a miss. Now remember, the archers don't have anything to spend the special die on, so that's basically a total miss. Come on, 1 more attack. Let's see, another couple of hits maybe. And this time they get 2 retreats. Now we're shooting from here to here, so they're going to have to retreat this way. And so they're just in camera, so they have to retreat twice. So they're going to move once, but they can't retreat anymore if we go up here because they have their own units here. However, because they're supported, they're not going to take a damage for not being able to retreat because they're supported by their own units. That was all the attacks that can happen from these guys darkening the skies. Next up, see here, we're going to do these ones, and they're going to attack the same Berserker units. So these guys are going to get 3 attacks, and let's hope they don't roll any retreats, because then it's going to end up putting them out of range. So these guys are going to get 3 attacks against the Berserker. So attack number 1, they get a double sword and a special, so that doesn't do anything. Attack number 2, they get a hit, so one of the Berserker units again is killed. And we get a 3rd attack. Now I don't mind if we get retreats, that would be alright. So 3rd attack, we get another hit and another special. So we've knocked them down to only 1 unit left in there. So we peppered them down pretty good. Couldn't quite get rid of them all. That's too bad, because then we could have ended up playing our lore card to give us 3 lore. But that's the way it is. Alright, that was those 2 archer units going. Our 3rd archer unit, I'm going to adjust the camera, and we're going to have them attack. Okay, our 3rd archer unit right here, they are going to be attacking the blood harvesters right here. So, because they're 1, 2, 3, 4 away, and there's no center to center, line of sight blocked. And of course, rivers don't block line of sight. Hills and forests and caverns and cities will block line of sight. So the first of 3 attacks against the Blood Harvesters is a hit and a special, which does nothing. So it takes out 1 unit. So our Dark in the Sky is working pretty good here. If we can thin down the Uthic units here, give us a better run for the exit. So that was 1 attack, 2 attacks, 2 double swords, a miss, and again 1 final attack, and we get a double retreat. So that's actually pretty good. So they're going to be retreating this way. So that pushes them 1-2 back. So it pushes them way off the board. So that's actually excellent. Gets them way out of our way. That was the Dakan attack step. So very, very good. I'm going to readjust the camera, and we're going to finish up with the upkeep phase, and that will be the end of episode. All right, so in the upkeep phase, we have what's called the, what do they call it? The victory point step. Gain victory points. Well, in this particular scenario, the only way to gain victory points, of course, for the Dakan is they need to get off the board. So, or they need to kill Razorwing units, which have not appeared yet. They will be appearing in the next episode during the Uthic phase. So we're kind of skipping that. Then we get to the draw step. We draw 1 command card from the command card deck. So we're going to draw a command card. So what do we get? We get 3 center. That is excellent because we have a lot of units in the center. So that's going to be a good one to have for us. So that was beneficial. And the next is the lore step. Resolve one of the following. So we can gain 2 lore tokens. We can gain a lore token and draw a lore card, or we can draw 2 lore cards and then discard a lore card. I think I'm going to grab 1 lore card and 1 lore token. So we're going to grab a lore token. So now our Dakan player has a total of 4, and we're going to draw 1 lore card off the top of their specific lore deck, and they get Death from Above. So our archers are awesome. This is good. So Death from Above. During your attack step, perform 1 attack with an archer unit or a unit with the flying ability. So perform 1 attack. So we just get a bonus attack during your attack step. Okay, so that means they don't even have to have been activated. We just get to attack with one of our flying, which we don't have, or archer units. Okay, and that is going to conclude the lore step. And so basically that is the end of our episode. Up next in episode 2, we are going to have the Uthic player go. And of course, the thing they're trying to do, of course, is to stop the Dakan from escaping. Dakan had a good start with Dark in the Skies, but don't count the Uthic out. Now, the Uthic also have the Razorwings with them. So Razorwings have a pretty nasty ability, and they can do a lot of damage. So we're going to see them in action in the next episode. All right, well, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing if you do. Thanks for giving me a thumbs up if you like my videos. And we will continue on with Battlelore 2nd Edition. We are playing A Shot in the Dark, which is basically the Razorwing expansion, neutral unit expansion, and that is the scenario that comes with it. So thanks so much for watching along, and join me next time for the continuation of Battlelore 2nd Edition, A Shot in the Dark, Razorwings.